Hello everyone, we are extremely excited for you to join us at our first launch week, the first of a long series, by the way. Platformatic is on the mission to transform and evolve the developer experience in building backends and APIs. Today, we are starting this journey by introducing some cool new features. We are starting this journey by solving one of the most complicated problems that developers have been facing since starting to build APIs. How do I test my PR? How do I enable my consumers to test my changes? Today, we are happy to introduce PR previews for your backend and API applications. Another critical aspect in the developer's flow is how do I get a new environment for my APIs? And we all know that sometimes it can take a long time to get one. We all have been there. Today, we are extremely excited to introduce workspaces, a new way to get an environment provision for your application. Back in December, we launched our cloud in private beta. And since the beginning, we got an overwhelming amount of requests to join it. The early feedback on PR previews and workspaces has been incredibly positive. Today, I'm extremely excited to announce Platformatic Free, our entry-level tier, available to everyone now. Our soul is open source, and we wanted to build into Platformatic something that as developers we have been craving. Connecting microservices, consuming them has always required a certain degree of knowledge and maintenance. Today, I'm extremely excited to release Platformatic Client, a new revolutionary way to consume services. But there is no better person to give you an overview and deep dive into these features than my co-founder and CTO, Matteo Collina.
Thanks, Luca. As we embark in this journey, I want to emphasize something dear to my heart and that Luca just shared. Platformatic heart and soul are open source. In the past month, we saw an incredible response from the community, from all of you. And, developers started to use Platformatic to build their applications, to test things out. And also, a lot of you contribute back. It was amazing to see. Thank you very much for your help and your support. It's now time to go and look at what we are announcing and unveiling today. So the first thing we're going to talk about is a feature that you probably have already experienced, and are pull request previews. You have already tried this out as part of the Platformatic Cloud Beta program, and you have provided a lot of feedback here. And most of you also appreciated it quite a lot because you could essentially just open up a request and you will do the build as part of your GitHub Actions, essentially, and then you just uploaded the code up to Platformatic using our action. And there is no GitHub app or no secret source here. What happens is that our cloud takes your bundle and deploy it. And now you have a long-running process that you can use to test your app. It's kind of amazing. What we are changing and what we are announcing today is the fact that this is now available and free. So you can just, there's no more invites, you don't need to ask permission to join this, it will just simply work. This feature is getting a rebrand. In fact, we are now calling it Dynamic Workspaces. So what is a workspace? Well, a workspace is just an area where you could deploy code. And why dynamic? Because they are ephemeral environment. They get destroyed at some point. It's kind of amazing. So what's special about our implementation of pull request previews or our dynamic workspaces? Workspaces enable you to push a bundle of code, and There is no build time, there's no build minutes. You don't have to pay for build minutes. You're already paying for build minutes on your CI, right? So it's your CI is doing all the heavy lifting, and now we can just take that bundle and push it to our cloud, and we just deploy it. It's pretty amazing, right? Less wait time for you. So we can just deploy it, your code, in a matter of seconds. And by the way, we are removing the invites, so you should check it out. The next feature that we're talking about is static workspaces. Well, there was dynamic workspaces, now there are static workspaces. What are those? Well, simply put, they are it's just an area where you deploy your code, and it's static. It's not ephemeral. It just stays there, and we run them. We run that code. It's pretty straightforward. You can spin them up in a matter of seconds, and they work brilliantly. They actually work exactly the same as the dynamic workspaces, and they're pretty amazing. So why don't you test them? Oh, yes. So if they're static, what does this mean? Well, it means that their domain don't change. So you can do multiple subsequent deployment, and the domain in which you can use to access them will stay put. So, for example, if you if you've been deploying to the gold rows.deploy.space domain, then you will still deploying there, and you can push your code to your branch, and we automatically take that code and push it to our cloud, and it just works. We now call both the static workspaces and dynamic workspaces as part of our cloud-free offering. As part of this offering, you get to have one of each, and it's free. You can use it for your project to verify everything works. But if you need more access, please reach out, because we will be shipping something else soon. Wait a second. But you talked about the fact that you got a deployed space domain. But what if you need to bring in your own domain? Well, we got you covered. Just stay put for a few more weeks, and we will ship custom CNAMEs. So just stay tuned on our social, and we have your back. The next feature that I'm going to talk about in this, as part of this launch, is part of our open source package, and it's the service-to-service client. So something that it's actually very important when building services is the concept of orchestrating them and combining them and reusing them across multiple projects and multiple sources. So our goal is to make things easier and easier for you. And our first step is releasing this tiny client. What does this do? Well, it generates a little bit of code and configuration that enables you to call either OpenAPI or GraphQL services straight from your Platformatic application, and you get type auto-completion and data validation, all those things that you would expect to get, and you get them out of the box. So it's pretty straightforward, and it's all wired up. So you can just do Platformatic client, give it a schema, give it a name, and then you can just use them and use the client in your own Fastify plugins. So, you remember that Platformatic is based on Fastify, right? So it's pretty great, and it's something that took us quite a long time. The pull request is 9,000 lines of code added, so it's a pretty mastodontic one, but it works super naturally, so you wouldn't feel there's a lot of code, a lot of things involved. You just give it a schema, and it can just run. And you should check it out, and let me know what you think. As part of our of this batch of announcements, please don't forget to sign up to Platformatic Cloud and join our community in Discord. And Luca, back to you.
Grazie Matteo for this incredible overview. I am extremely excited about these new features, PR previews, workspaces, our Platformatic Cloud and Platformatic Client. All features available today for everyone. For the rest of the week, we plan some incredible deep dive sessions and workshops for you all to experience these new functionalities and the power of our cloud. The team did a phenomenal job, and we can't wait to show you our upcoming releases. Stay tuned!